what's your next season look like? And how do you evaluate seasons in your life so that people that are maybe younger than you are looking at you currently and then your evaluative process as a couple, as individuals, but how do you guys evaluate seasonality of things?
Yeah. Well, for the listener who's maybe just tuning in, who's never heard us talk about this, every anniversary, so we got married in June, every anniversary is kind of almost like a restart of goals, aspirations. So we do a 1 year plan in the perfect world, a 3 year, a 5 year, 10 year. So we wanted to begin our marriage with the end in mind, and being in a season where we specifically are and have launched a 501c3 nonprofit. We're kind of in the season where we're in the grind. We're in the grind, and we know, because from fundraising to event planning to travel to making God's name known and building his kingdom and not our own. That's one thing that we always want to do, is make sure that he's on the throne of our heart, and the ministry of which we're leading. So I would say that's one way that we kind of calibrate our seasons or recalibrate. We're also in a season of young kids.
Yeah.
So that's never
Real.
gonna go. We're gonna be parents forever. So
Yeah.
until the Lord takes us home. So and beyond. So I'm just evaluating, like, how do we not wish the seasons away, but how do we live present
Yep.
while preparing for the future and enjoying the now? It's like this tension of time that I think we're always trying to, I don't know, manage. It's not even balance. It's just, how do we manage the tensions in the season that we're in, while we don't want to wish it away? We have one teething, one that needs to start almost potty training, and one to sleep through the night. Like, those are my 3 prayers for them.
Hey, that's good. That's real
But I
good.
don't
And
want to
it's
wish it
real
away,
too.
right? Because then I'm like, oh my gosh, she'll be 18 and out of the house, and we sitting here wondering what happened the last 18 years. So I guess that's a portion of the answer, but I don't know if you want to take one step deeper, just
For sure. My whole life, I always had the luxury or the ability to say yes to anything that I wanted to do. And just calendar wise, I made it work, especially as a single young adult. Like,
availability, right?
I did grad school at a young age. I was working. I had a very fun life. And then getting married, there's 2 of you. So you put your joint calendars together, and that was really easy. I think the challenge for us, Micah mentioned, is like, okay, bedtime routine is like energy at this house.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 of us and 2 of them. And so I look at, like, we were away with some friends last week, and they're like, Josiah, are you up for training for an Ironman, which is like about a 2-mile swim, 112-mile bike, 26.2-mile run. And I said, I would be someday, but this isn't the season for that. Just knowing the amount of training that goes into that, knowing that added energy is going to go into launching a ministry that we feel God's asked us to do. So I think that how we evaluate decisions or seasons, for me, came from probably being 18 years old, and my youth pastor told me about a leadership podcast called Andy Stanley Leadership Podcast. And he always said, he wrote a book called Choosing to Cheat, and I think it got renamed, but he always said, don't give up something that's unique to you for something that someone else will do.
Yeah.
And so it reminds me, at church or at work or with ministry, somebody else can do those things. Somebody else can preach the event on Sunday.
Yeah.
Somebody else could lead at that conference, and somebody else may lead this ministry beyond us someday.
Right.
But our daughters have one dad. Micah has one husband. So like, our friend Trey, he fires me up because we were at an event, and he goes, everything is the rubber ball. You can get a new job. It's buoyant. It bounces back. You know, like, you mess up with a client. Well, you can get a new client. You crash your rental car. Well, there's insurance, and it's a rubber ball. As long as nobody died. But he goes, the family is the glass ball.
Yeah.
If you drop it, it will shatter, and God can still make beautiful things like mosaics he can restore broken things, but it will never be the same. So just learning from others, how they've processed big career changes or seasons, asking myself or Micah, then, what is this season? What's our greatest kingdom contribution? And what I tell myself, just because it fits on the calendar doesn't mean it fits with our values.